It's fight week in New York and we're in the ESPN studios with the two boxers, the champion TERENCE CRAWFORD and the challenger AMIR for a very unusual and very late head-to-head. In fact, I've never known in 30 odd years in the business a head-to-head to take place only 100 or so hours before the first bell. So both boxers, in my opinion, need commending. I'm going to start with you, TERENCE. You're face-to-face with AMIR here. It's going to be a week of that here. What are your first impressions when you look across at him just a few hours before the first bell?
I don't have no impression.
Just the kid you thought he was?
He's not a kid. He's a grown man. I'm a grown man. We're going to see, you know, come Saturday. There's no need to speculate what type of mindset he's got going on in there.
What do you see when you look across him, yeah?
Just same, you know, end of the day, we know we've done our training. We're both ready. We're both here in New York for the big fight. And we're going to see who the best is on Saturday night. I'm sure we're both in our best shape we could ever be in for this fight. So it's hard to tell, you know, it's hard to see someone's person. I'm a very laid back guy, especially when it comes to fight week. I always like to be chilled. So yeah.
TERENCE, when you look across at AMIR, do you see there a fighter that can beat you? Is that a man that can put fear in you?
No. Not at all. Not at all.
Does any fighter put fear in you? Has any fighter in your career so far put any fear in you?
Not at all. They put on their gloves just like me. They bleed just like me. Why be scared? I've been doing this since I was 7 years old.
So has AMIR been doing it at the same time. Do you see anything in him? Anything different? Do you think he realises that this could be a harder fight than maybe he thinks?
I mean, I don't think he realises that he is going to have his hands full. I really believe that I am going to be his toughest test, and you know, I'm just going to come in the fight and do what I do best. I've never ducked away from any fight, and I've never not gone into a fight giving my all. So this is going to be another day in the office.
And is he your toughest test, TERENCE?
We shall see.
Do you think he is? I mean, you know, you've got to do a bit of preparing in your head. Do you think he's 12 world title fights? Is he the hardest one so far?
Ain't no such thing as thinking. You know, my last probably 8 fights been the toughest fights of my career, you know, to date, you know, they say. You know, and you see how them fights turned out. So a lot of people say this is going to be the toughest fight of my career. We shall see.
Do you think he's met better men than you, even if he's lost them? Do you think he's met better men than you?
No, not even. He met bigger men than me, but better? No. I don't believe it.
And AMIR, you mentioned there that you think you're his best, your best opponent. Do you think he knows that?
I mean, like I said, you know, we're going to find out on Saturday. It's very hard to talk about it so many days out at the moment. I know that he's going to be ready for the fight, and I'm going to be ready for the fight. We both trained to go into this fight to win. So the best man's going to win, really.
So has AMIR been on your radar during the last, maybe a couple of years really, even though you only moved up last summer, but has he been on your radar as a guy that down the line you might meet, might do some business with?
To tell you the truth, no. You know, I'd never visualized myself fighting AMIR Khan. You know, he's a great fighter. You can't take nothing away from him. But at the same time, I never pictured us in the same ring together.
You've been getting a lot of praise, rightly so. 12 world title fights, stopped the last 5. It's a good run. It's an awful long time. Are you feeling the pressure now to perform and keep on performing at that very highest level?
To tell you the truth, there's no pressure. You know, this is what I do. I go in there, I do my job, and so be it. So I'm just going to do what I've been doing. And that's going in there, dominating, and keeping my title.
And AMIR, when you look at Terence's last 12 fights, or the 3 or 4 before then, what's the best performance? What's his best performance? What's the fight that makes you lose the most sleep?
I mean, I think, look, he's had some good performances. His last couple of fights have been good. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I'm a big boxing fan as well as a fighter myself, so, you know, I do see things, and I think, you know, he boxes really well. So, you know, you have to admire the skills he's got and the way he works when he's in the ring. So that only motivates me to go in the gym and train even harder for this fight, knowing that I'm up against a very tough fighter, you know.
And has he been on your radar for a while? The last 2 or 3 years, maybe?
Never really. No, this was a fight which was unexpected, really. When I got the call, I had to take a couple of days just to think about it and then see fights. I mean, I've watched Terence fight before. I've known of him, but never thought we'd ever be sharing a ring together. But you know, things happen in boxing, and I think this fight came up, and I was like, okay, I'll take it.
That's as I mentioned there that the last 5 have ended quick. Can you beat AMIR on points if it doesn't end quick?
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
He say he never been outboxed before. Neither have I.
That's what makes this fight special. You know, you got 2 fighters who never really been outboxed before. I respect Terence's boxing skills. I do also have boxing skills. So, I mean, this is where, you know, you got two skillful fighters who are going to be facing each other, really.
So could we get a chess match?
It could be at times. At times it could be, you know, maybe digging deep as well. But wherever it comes down to in the ring, I know I'm going to be ready. I've trained very hard for this.
Terence, what's the Gamboa fight with 1 or 2? Because it was a terrific fight, it was a lot of fun to watch, but you know, you were hurt in that fight, then you came back to hurt him. Was that your scariest moment? Was that the most in peril you ever were as a professional boxer, Gamboa, those few seconds in that round? Or half a minute in that round, to be honest.
I wouldn't say scary. You know, he caught me with a good shot. I stopped him in the same round.
What was that? Was that because it was hometown? Is that because you decided to go to war? Or was it because he was good?
No. He just called me overconfident, careless. I came in with my hands down, caught me with a good shot.
Have you learned since then?
Of course. I didn't took bigger shots by bigger men since then and walk right through it. So a lot of people is always comparing to the Gamboa fight. The Gamboa did this, Gamboa did that. I whitewashed Gamboa. Gamboa is no more. He's not the same after he fought Terence Crawford. You know, so why is we still talking about Gamboa? You know?
Well, it was a terrific fight and he was unbeaten and it was a hard one.
It was a good fight. I wouldn't say it was a hard fight.
Just hard moments.
Couple of rounds. You know, it was my first title defense. You know, that was my first big fight. You know, it's a lot of things that goes into that fight. You know, but hey, I got past it and I moved forward and I'm here now and I'm fighting AMIR Khan. We're not fighting Gamboa.
AMIR, we know what happens to you when you let your heart rule your head. We know we've seen that a few times in the fights where you've got caught and you've got involved. Are we going to see a smarter AMIR Khan? Because we see it every now and again, and then you go back to fighting with your heart and not your head.
I think, you know, when you're fighting guys who are up there as one of the best fighters in the world, and especially with Terence being a pound-for-pound fighter, one of the best, you know, it makes you fight your A game. It makes you not make them mistakes. I'm going to go in that ring with a game plan, sticking to that game plan, not making those mistakes I've made before, where guys who are meant to go into the ring with and beat quite comfortably, I kind of make it a war and make it hard for myself. But yeah, for this fight, I have to stay very disciplined. We know how good he is. I'm not going to take nothing away from him. We just have to be on my best day. You know, I have to go there and do what I do best and be very smart and be very skillful and use the right shots at the right time.
Now, you've talked about flaws that you've seen, things that you've seen that could be keys to your victory. Is one of those natural size that you've been in and around welterweight for a lot longer than Terence has been in and around welterweight?
Well, you know, I've gone up to middleweight, which wasn't really a healthy weight division for me. Welterweight does suit me. For this fight especially, I've made sure I made the weight right. I normally kind of crash weight, make the weight quite quickly, but this time I've taken my time making the weight and made it quite comfortably. So I'm only a couple of pounds over as we speak. But to be honest with you, it's about how you come into a fight. I know I've trained very hard. I've done my sparring and everything I needed to. I've been pushed very hard in my conditioning and everything. So I'm gonna go in there and do what I do best, man. There's gonna come times in the fight where it's gonna get hard, but I know I'm gonna be ready for that.
Terence, certainly Amir's saying all the right things, all the things that you'd want to hear. One of the things you're having to contend with at the moment is people saying that you're either the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, or you're the second best fighter in the world, or you're in the top 3 best fighters in the world. Now, that's a different type of pressure. It doesn't put pressure on you for the fight, but it puts pressure on you a little bit for performance and the quality. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
No?
All I care about is winning.
So that whole pound for pound.
I'm not worried about none
You're
of
not bothered
that.
about that.
I'm not worried
That's
about
just
none.
something that other people can talk about.
They can talk about it. My job is to go out there and win. That's it. I like how you think he's the bigger, stronger guy.
No, it's just, hey, he's been bigger and stronger. He's been bigger and he's been bigger than you for a long while. Just natural bulk. I mean, he's been at 147 for an awful long time. I mean, I don't know, when you were lightweight, so let's say when you were fighting Ricky Burns, on fight night, how much would you have weighed getting into the ring that night?
It doesn't matter. Everybody that they said that I was smaller than, that they was bigger and stronger, you see what happened.
Do you think people have been reluctant to give you the proper amount of respect? Or don't you care?
I earn my respect.
But you get the respect now. I mean,
Yeah, but
people talk about you in that rarefied air of 2 or 3 other fighters.
yeah, that's cool. But come Saturday, I'll show you who the bigger fighter is.
No, definitely, man. We'll see. I mean, look. I mean, this is something I've never really done. A couple of days at the fight, you know, when you.
It's never happened before.
It's never happened before. But you know, I mean, it's not my style. Like I said, I'm gonna let my face do the talking. I mean, come Saturday, I mean, I'm one of them guys. I'm quite laid back, especially for fight week. They talk. They say what they want to say. I mean, the media are always gonna say things. That's fine. I do physically feel I'm the bigger guy. I've been. The reason I say I'm the bigger guy is because I fought in the 147-pound division for a longer time.
You looking forward to the fight, Amir?
I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, look, this is another, like, it's just brought that love back into the sport again for me. You know, it's so hard when you find these lower caliber fighters. It's hard to build you, like, you know, kind of.
Hard to get the motivation.
The motivation to lift you. But this fight, I mean, I didn't need no motivation. I mean, it was just right there, knowing that I'm fighting one of the best top fighters in the world for a title, and that brings that hunger back into my body again. So for me, I mean, this is what I needed, man.
And you just naturally have the motivation, Terence.
Motivated.
It's a really strange thing, because a lot of people consider, when they talk about you, how hard it was for you at the start, and then you finally got that chance against British Prescott, short notice. But if you look at your first 15 fights, and you look at Amir's first 15 fights, you only fought 3 men with a winning record in the first 15. He fought 12 men with a winning record in the first 15. So that kind of narrative about how hard you had it, I'm not saying it's wrong, but at the same time, you fought in your first 15 fights guys you were never going to lose against.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all, but it's really interesting when you look at it, because the general thing people think about with you is that no one wanted to fight you. We couldn't get you in there. We couldn't get you a crack, and then you took the Prescott fight, which was a risk at the time. Let's get that right. And then you had 2 really hard fights after that. It was like people didn't want to suck you in, didn't want to sort of give you the exposure, which you gladly have got now, and rightly so.
Maybe I didn't get the opportunities like he had coming out of the Olympics as a silver medalist. You know, I always had the skills, always had the talent. You know, I just didn't get the opportunity. When I got it, I seized it.
You did seize it. There's no one's doubting that. Amir, final word, then Terence gets the final word. He's the champion. What have you got to say to Terence? Just a few hours, 100 or so hours before the first bell. What's your message to him?
I mean, at this level, I'm just probably way past Stephen saying any words. I'm just ready, and I just can't wait to step in the ring. Outside the ring, we have that respect, but I mean, once we step in that ring, that respect goes to a side, and the best man win the fight. I mean, I'm going to be ready. I hope he is as well, which I think he will be. You know, he's a true professional. He's been at the elite level for a very long time. This is a big fight, and it's a fight that I really want to win, and I'm really desperate for.
And Terence, final word to you, to Amir? Or words? Can be a single word.
Just be ready, that's it.
You shake hands?
Yeah, I don't know.
Terence Crawford, Amir Khan, Madison Square Garden, where else? New York City. Welterweight world title at stake. And a very odd and very late head-to-head.
I better get the ball.